Alright, so fun fact, I just got my hair done, like cut, so the layers are a little out of control the way she blew dry it. I love her, and she did great, but like, I don't want my hair like this. Ugh, lip gloss. Ugh. And she's a beauty guru and a witch. I filmed this video twice already, both out of focus, so I'm hoping 3 times the charm. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go out of focus again, but I just felt like trying one more time, which was probably a stupid idea, but honestly, I don't know. The video, I was gonna say today's video, but the past 3 days video was supposed to be my 7 spiritual witchy favorites. And basically with that said, I took 1 hour to explain 7 different things. Could you imagine if I did like 20 questions about me, like in depth? Because before controversy begins, my cigar box from my sister's father, I was gonna say uncle because we call him uncle, says acid on it. There's no acid in there, but it says acid on it. So I didn't want anyone to think like this is a jar full of acid. It's actually crystals, which could honestly be considered the same thing. I'm gonna read from my phone because I put down specific things that I wanted to specifically remember. So obviously you can tell from having my acid box there. My first item that I can't live without, spiritual witchy wise, they're my crystals! And what a shocker that is. I didn't want to be like original and put crystals in there, but I just had to because if I'm being honest with you, can't really live without them. Like I totally, all jokes aside, I feel like I need my crystals to function. I need them to get through times that are in retrograde and like times where I'm out of whack and my chakras are like, peace out. That's when I need them. Okay, you guys, so first crystal that I absolutely can't live without is selenite. Selenite is used as an overall charger for any crystal if you need to charge them. If you know what charging is, it's kind of getting the bad energies or the energies in general that aren't your own out of your crystal. I try to do it every single day. That's a little excessive, but like normally when you work with them is when you're gonna want to cleanse them the most within each use. This little guy though, I feel like is an awesome beginner crystal because not only do you have all the benefits from this crystal, but it doesn't have to be charged. So it's like hassle-free. You don't have to worry about putting it under the sun or the moonlight to infuse that energy, take out the bad energies or the energies in general that don't belong to you, like I said before. And reminder, when you bond yourself to a crystal, basically meditate with it, it becomes your crystal, not just one that you work with for certain things, but it's yours, you're in tune with it. It's almost like a pet. We'll go a little extreme and say it's like a pet. When you charge them, that energy, that bond doesn't go away. It's just taking out that confused negative energy or the energies from other people if you had them in your room. So number 1 I have on here is good luck. Number 2 I have protection. And then emphasis on the fact that it doesn't need to be charged and can be used as a charging port, if you will. If you have a selenite plaque, kind of like an incense holder or something, and it's laying flat, or just this in general. Sometimes people can hang their crystal necklaces on something like this, or if you have the plaque, you lay out your crystals and they will charge from the selenite. Removes blockages in the body. So let's say you have a blockage that has to do with abundance, just saying, or love. You feel like you can't get that deep connection, or you can't really get all you deserve out of what it is you desire. This will help you get rid of those blockages and those problem areas where there's clearly something going wrong that's blocking you from your highest potential. And then finally I wrote down, this is more of the quick analysis, this one cleanses the aura from negative energy, which is huge. If you don't know, I won't go too in depth, but an aura is basically a color that surrounds you. If you know me, I'm super into color vibration, and basically colors, oh my god, these cars, colors make us feel a certain way, colors make us act a certain way. What I was talking about before, aura is something that surrounds you. It's the true deep within you. Let's say you have a green aura. That's towards nature and towards healing energy and being one with earth. Those people usually have the green auras and one with animals and such. So that's just a quick example. So now we move on to amethyst crystal. I believe this is a cluster. There might be another name for it, but this is my big amethyst cluster, which the vibrations off of this thing are ridiculous. If you put a pendulum over it, it'll actually circle really huge. And basically with amethyst, the properties are as listed. Bringing harmony to your inner spirit, so that soul, that mind, that body, all of to a peaceful state. It's a natural stress reliever, encourages inner strength and peace, strengthens intuition, which is like kind of that gut feeling when you know something is a certain way and it ends up being true. That's your intuition. It attracts wealth, clarity of the mind, tunes you in with your feelings. This is a super good crystal for those of you who maybe struggle with that and can't really, even if it's a matter of you don't usually struggle with that, but you can't really tap into why you're feeling a certain way, this is amazing to meditate with or just kind of hold on to. It aids meditation, and it works with the crown chakra, which is right here, also known as the third eye to some people, which is kind of like your psychic vision. So again, with color vibration, purple is a very relaxing color. Purple is very spiritual, as I do have my room covered in purple for this purpose. I did this when I was younger, but I always felt very spiritual when I was younger, so it kind of suits me well now that I'm into all of this stuff once again, much more deeper than I was. So color vibration, this brings peace, brings stress relief just from the color palette. So another that I can't live without has to be clear quartz crystal. And basically clear quartz is known as the amplification stone. So any crystal you're working with can be amplified 20 times more. And amplify, I mean the properties, the powers that that crystal brings when you use them in meditation or you use them with just kind of warming them to your body. With this as well, it's going to make the experience much more intense. These crystals can also be used in place of other crystals. So let's say you didn't have amethyst, which is the psychic crystal that I just told you about. You could channel the amethyst energy and envision it. Expansion of consciousness, which I think is super cool, super exciting. Allows communication with spirit guides, of course only positive, as this is a negative clearing stone. Acts as an amplifier in power when using other crystals, attracts love and prosperity, memory retention, aids concentration, assists with weight loss and metabolism, which is a very interesting fact. It's a deep soul cleanser, and it takes inner negativity and turns it positive, which I think is a huge thing. I think it's awesome that we can sometimes have that self-doubt, which isn't awesome, self-doubt and that worry and that depression within our appearance or within ourselves as human beings. And it's interesting to know this crystal for those who struggle with that. It'll turn your negative thoughts and your negative energies about yourself and make you feel positive and make you feel sort of confident. So my second one is going to be all my plants that I love, that I can't live without. So you guys know Bert from my other video as well. Bert is my giant majesty palm plant. He has grown so much. Basically, I got him from a plant shop and he was on the verge of dying. It sounds very dramatic, but he was getting too much sun and too little water. So he's a very green, luscious, kind of foresty looking plant, and he was turning yellow and breaking apart. So now he's flourished, taking over my whole room, knocking things over, and he's very green. I put rose quartz in his soil to make him flourish, which is another video on its own, but if you watch like science experiments and stuff, you can actually see the benefit of putting crystals within plant matter. So aside from that, I really couldn't live without my plants. I didn't have plants in my room before, and now that I do this year, and more plants. I have lavender plant, I have a lemon balm plant, now I have Bert, and then the more plants outside are just in my area. I've noticed the air is a lot cleaner. And maybe that's my own observation or my placebo, but truly, like, I felt like my room was so like kind of dingy before, even with all my witchy stuff that would be clearing it out and cleaning my room and making sure that the feng shui is on point. I haven't felt this allergy free in a very long time, and I truly think it's because of all the plants I'm bringing into my room, as they do bring in oxygen. So that's my plants. Basically, my next item are my spell candles, which I truly, truly could not live without. I've never done candle magic that hasn't come through to me, and actually reading a book that I did when I first started, it was, I believe, the Beginner's Guide to Candle Magic or Spell Candles? I think Candle Magic. And basically this man, which I think is so cool when men do magic. I know that's like to say like it's only for women, but I'm not even saying that. I just think it's so cool when men kind of touch into that. I don't know why. I guess it's an attractive trait. This man in the video talks about how this candle magic has changed his life, and he learned from a friend, and at first he was a little nervous about it, but then he decided to try it out, and he's been doing it ever since and getting deeper and deeper with the ritual aspect of it, bringing in all the colors of the candles, again, color vibration with these bad boys. Blue is a very spiritual candle. Blue kind of acts like purple in the sense that they connect you to your intuition, to your own intent and higher power, as well as the realm around us and the whatever god you believe in. Blue is a very spiritual candle. Pink is for love and friendship, more friendship than love, because red is actually the passion, the love, the fieriness, the lust, if you crave lust. Within that, pink is more subtle for that calming kind of friendship aspect of things, as well as I'm looking at my rose quartz right now, and that's kind of the same thing. Rose quartz obviously is more attracted to love, but that pinky color is sort of finding that peace within love. My yellow is obviously joy, because you do see the color yellow, and I feel a lot of people agree that immediately you think of joy. It is also for clarity of the mind and enlightenment. I'd probably use a yellow if I want to get some insight on things or go deeper within my wisdom. Basically, overall, the candles are used to be burnt, to put intent or oils that are made by you or made by others with intent on them, and they are meant to be lit and then burned all the way down when they go out by themselves, because you don't want to blow them with your breath. You can use a candle snuffer to take it out, but with your own breath usually it doesn't really set it as intensely. Okay, I don't remember exactly what I was saying because I got cut off because my camera died. But yeah, basically I was trying to tell you the small meanings behind the candles. Obviously I'm not going too in depth because this video would be extremely long, and I don't want it to be another hour video, even though it's probably gonna be. So candle magic has never failed me. I highly suggest if you're going to start with any magic, this is very simple magic. It could become much more complex, but for me, if I'm in a rush, and obviously it's not good to say you're in a rush with your spirituality because it should be one of the top things that you pay attention to. I like lighting these, sitting there for a while, meditating with them, looking at the candle flame. I am total candle gazer, and I feel like these are great for that, and these are very fast. Light one, set intention, sit there for a while, magic. So my next two actually kind of go head to head, so I'm gonna do it as such. I'm combining my smudge sticks, or my cleansing sticks. I'm putting together my resins and herbs, because I feel like that all kind of goes together, as these are herbs as well. So first I'm gonna start with sage. I've had a long history with sage, and I say that because I used to not like it at all. I felt like it had a negative effect, and what I found out for me that actually made it so negative was, again, people can agree or disagree, I was lighting it, and then to make the stick ignite, I was blowing on it. And by blowing on that, I didn't know that you're allowing negative energy to come forth, as well as I didn't know, this is all a learning process, by the way. I never just came into it knowing everything, so keep that in mind if you're a beginner with all of this stuff. So I didn't know that, and as well I didn't know that sage cleanses all energy. I thought sage cleansed and brought in positive, but that's actually what Palo Santo does, one of the more holy. I wish I had a bigger stick to show you guys because I am running out. I'm getting more from a friend of mine, but so this actually takes out all energy, negative and positive, to the room, and then I use my Palo Santo, which basically is mainly only for positivity, to bring that in. It actually does get rid of a little negativity, but Likewise, it's more on the positive factor, and this is more on the cleansing everything factor, which is super, super good to know. So when I didn't like sage, I actually used lavender, and only lavender. This is just a pure bundle of dried lavender. And lavender obviously is a huge protector, but it doesn't do the job as well as sage. And then I came to the realization that the perfect combo for me was a mixture of sage and roses. So that brings in my element. Roses are kind of my own thing. And then sage, which is cleansing overall. And it kind of made it work better for me, made it more tap into my feminine energy. Moving on to my herbs and my resins. My resins are actually over there, but I did have them in my other video, which again I keep referencing, but I used frankincense resin as well as dragon's blood resin, and basically they're a sap from a tree from what I've heard. It's a sticky kind of hard form, almost like old gum, but then you melt them on a charcoal if you are using them as incense, and it becomes a thick, thick smoke. And I think I enjoy that for cleansing, because frankincense is a protector as well. I enjoy that for cleansing because I feel it. I use herbs obviously on charcoal discs, but for some reason when I use that and it creates that thick smoke that's surrounding my body, I feel much more deeper cleansed. And I brought here calendula petals, which is marigolds, as well as some cassia sticks, cinnamon, different version of cinnamon. And these are the herbs I love the most for, you guessed it, protection and hydration. And if you guys are wondering why I would use one for hydration, I obviously have my oils, which are my next favorite, that I'll show you that I make. You can check it out on my website. I don't want to keep plugging it because I sound so desperate, but honestly, you guys, I don't make anything that I don't use myself. And I would never give you anything that hasn't done wonders for me and has been tested for months at a time, you know? I'm just not that type of person, to be honest. And I don't know, I don't want to go on a rant about it saying like, I'm different, I promise, but like, I just want, this has turned into a different type of video. I don't want you to get shit. I don't want you to get crappy products because there's too many influencers and people, this is a rant, talking about products that suck, and to put it very blunt. And I just think that's wrong. I think that's bad karma. Why am I going to give you something that makes you hate the fact that you spent your money, you know? So cinnamon is very not only warm and comforting, can be used in money spells and is a huge protectant. I use cinnamon in my money spells. This is actually what's in my red money spell candle that I have back there. Woo! If anybody's ever had calendula oil infused anything, you know that it's key for hydration. Obviously using oil, trying to infuse the calendula is already moisturizing, but the extract that comes out of the herb, the juices, if you will, are extremely moisturizing. It's a anti-inflammatory. I use it on my eczema, which is pretty extreme when it gets either super cold out, it gets very raw, or it gets super hot and then everything's kind of like oily and just bubbly and not fun. So I use this on my eczema. That's how you know it's very gentle. This is just, I wanted to throw this in here. This is my white sage that's not in a bundle, so I thought it was pretty cool to see it in its plant form, sort of its plant form. It smells amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure people cook with this as well. The scent is like ridiculous. So those are for my herbs and my resins that I couldn't live without. Clearly I put them in everything that I use. I try to put them obviously in teas, I put them in oil blends, I put them in incense blends. Truly, I use them every single day if I'm being honest. Always have them around me. Here's a look at one of my oils. This one is the Blossom Blend. So you guys, last but not least, a huge, huge must-have of mine, especially for research purposes and becoming where I am today. Obviously, I thank a lot of that to Google, who else, but if I didn't have my books to study, I don't think I'd be as in tuned or filled with knowledge as I am compared to a few years ago. This is A Year and a Day, Everyday Witchcraft, 366 Ways to Witchify Your Life book. I love, first of all, the illustration with the black cat and the candle and the crystals on the front of it. I'm going to show you an up-close view of it, but basically people believe you are officially a witch if you study for a year and a day. I've been studying long after that, but it's always good to learn something new within these books. They basically give you certain dates, and you could start obviously from the beginning of the year to fully the end and do one each day, or you could do what I do, which is the lazy girl way. Is you pick the day it is and you open it, whatever day you start on, and then it gives you a tip or it gives you something to do. It's super cool when you can't really think of any magic to perform. You can kind of flip to one and it'll give you an easy step. It could be something very ritualistic, very intense that you have to set up for, or it could give you something like smudge your whole room or cleanse all that negative energy that's blocking you, and it's like clean your room up, or use sage smoke or light your candles. So my next book, we all know that I hype up in all my Instagram pictures as well as all my YouTube videos, and it's the Green Witch book. So on the front, The Natural Magic of Herbs, Flowers, Essential Oils, and More. I love this book because not only does it allow you to find what you are, witch-wise, your identification as a witch. I didn't really know what I wanted to be called before, and through this book I found out that I would be considered solitary because I don't follow any particular religion considering Wicca or pagan or anything like that. I kind of do my own witchcraft and whatever works for me. It could be something as extreme as a whole day ritual and I'm giving offerings of fruit and wine and all this stuff, or it could be something simple like I said before, lighting my candles or creating an incense and kind of just being in that moment, being meditative. So it basically explains what a green witch is, what a herb witch is. Also, why I love this, which I was going to say before, is the recipes it gives you. It gives you recipes for edible things like teas, or it gives you recipes for salves, for oils, for balms, as well as going in depth to all the herbs and what the herbs are for and what they can be used as. A super good book for a beginner or for anyone in general. I recommend somebody even studying for a long time to read this. It's just really enjoyable and really beautiful and gives you kind of a insight of things maybe you hadn't thought about before. I don't want to say that you haven't found your religion if you're super like committed to your religion already. This is about to get confusing, but basically I thought things were one way and then I read the perspective from a few people, and I feel like before you commit to a religion, whether you were brought up that way or not, and whether you think your opinions are going to change or not, it's super important to actually delve into other people's religion and read books about them, because there's a lot of things that you may agree with and may be similar to your current religion, or maybe even better than your current religion in your eyes. You don't know until you look, and that's why I love exploring things like Wicca and pagan things and solitary witch and herb witch and green witch and kitchen witch, all these things. I could go on for hours. It's just like there always is a title to everything, which kind of sucks, but something such as solitary can put you in a form of, hey, I don't know what exactly it is I'm practicing every day, but I'm practicing something, and I believe in the universe, and I believe in earth, and I believe in a God, a form of God, whatever that may be to you. I believe in my own things, and I don't really have to follow it book by book, but I can follow some of your religion. I could take things from pagan people's views and agree. I could take things from Wiccan people's views. I could take things from Christians' point of views. I mean, I'm not a fucking Satanist, you know? Like, I believe in everything there is to believe in. So I just feel like books like these, even though they may seem dumb to some people, because why can't I just research it? You can. You go watch YouTube videos like this that are super educational and super eye-opening, and you could also get a book and read!